All right, welcome back, boys and girls. This is more of the advanced version. So let's say we're going to go ahead and just create a game board real quick. All right, so we have our baseline. Let's say I want to make this a little bit bigger. Okay, I want my lines to be black and I want them to be thicker. Okay, but I want my fill to be transparent. You'll find out why. So now let's say you want sort of a Monopoly board, right? So everyone knows we got to create those squares. I would create your squares over here. Just create one square, see if it fits. Okay, gotta shrink that in a little bit. Does it fit? Yes, it does. Maybe even shrink it just a tad bit more. Okay, now what you want to do, borders are there, but what the properties look like, if you're going for properties or spaces, um, they have that extra color strip on the top. So what you're going to do is make this bottom square, turn that white. Okay, you still got your square, it's still there. Then you're going to make another shape right on top of it. I just want you to create a small rectangle right on top of it. Okay, now let's say I am making the green properties. Okay, so now what I want you to do is type on it before. So this is going to be, let's say, Alaska. Okay, and it's going to be worth $200. Okay. So now text again, you can do all the same things, but what's really nice is I can put this in the center and I can put it in the, well, we want it on the bottom. Okay, so Alaska $200, I want to center this as well. Okay, make sure that is centered. Now, I don't want to move the bottom square without moving the top square. So what I do is I'm going to click select, or my control, and I'm going to select both of them. I'm going to two finger click, and do you see this group? Where is it? Hold on here. Let's move these out to the side so that I can show you. Maybe that's what's going on. Okay, so I am going to highlight these, double click, and now I can group them. So now Alaska does not move without the bottom white space. Now, instead of going and creating 40 of these, all you can do is copy and paste, 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 paste. Okay, so now I have a bunch of these that I can now go through. Okay, so, and you can also change the color. So let's say I'm now creating my red ones, and that one's going to be, what else is in the West? Colorado. Okay, that's Colorado. But you're going to have to, it looks like you're going to have to regroup them all. So you're going to highlight, oops. So what you might have to do is do all of these on the outside. Okay, so make sure it's centered and then go ahead and highlight that. And again, go and ungroup it, and now we are going to group it. Okay, so now Colorado, we need to regroup, ungroup. Okay, there we go. So now Colorado, you might have to mess with that a little bit, but I still have Alaska that is moving. Colorado, you can make all of these, okay? So if you need to rotate again, you need to rotate that. Make sure it is at 270 so it fits perfectly just like that. Now, I'm going to delete these. Oops. Okay, so now what's happening is that these are grouped with the background, and I do not want that. So make sure that you watch out when you are doing that. We need to move this guy back over. Okay, now let's say you are just doing color squares. Okay, so what you're going to do here, oh, this is stupid ads. What you're going to do here is create your shapes. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just delete all of this and show you a different way to do it. So I'm going to create the curved game board. So again, if you want it curved, click. Where you want it to curve, click down and swoop up. Curve. Maybe you want to curve there. Curve up like that. Okay, and when I'm done, double click. Copy, paste. Now I have two of them. Click the select mouse. I'm going to move that one up so that, move this one down too. Okay, so that it is on my board. Okay, you might have to shorten it, okay, to fit. And you might have to mess with it a little bit just to get it just how you want it, right? Now, you want to group these as well. You also want to connect them. So if you are creating this, you're going to want to connect these with the lines right here at the ends. Make sure they are connected. Oh, I don't want that. Select mouse. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and highlight all of my board. And then I'm going to two-hand click and I'm going to group. Okay, so now this whole thing moves as one, which is going to help me out in the future. So now what I'm going to do, let's say you're going to do more of just the color squares, right? So you can create all of these different squares. What I would suggest doing is making these squares out to the side. Okay, mine look like maybe I want them to be a little bit smaller. Make sure it fits. Okay, doesn't fit. Need to make it a bit like that. Okay, maybe rotate it. But what looks like is I might have to use polyline. So I'm going to go to polyline and I'm just going to create my own shape right here. And it's going to fit perfectly just like that. Okay, so you can go and do that, get those weird edges. So if I wanted to do one right here, this might be a good spot to make one just because it's a little weird. Okay, same with some of these. Make some of those individual ones first, maybe the curved ones. Whoops. And so on. But I want to show you how to make a bunch of those squares that you might need. So you need to find your size, make sure, okay, that seems to be about right. I can rotate it to fit it. Make sure, let's line it up. Okay, you can also make your poly squares the whole time if that fits you better. If you don't like this white space here, go ahead and do that. You can also change this to be smaller. Okay, bring it in, bring it out, that sort of thing. So let's say that. Okay, what you're going to do is you're going to want to copy and paste some of those so that you don't have to create all of them. And then pick whatever color pattern you are going to do, right? So let's say I'm going to make my first color. It's going to be this nice pretty green, and then I'm going to do yellow, and then I'm going to do red, and then we're going to go back to green. Oh, not the right green. So if I'm just doing three colors, and the blue. So I'm going to take these and I'm going to group these. That means that these three will never move without each other. So I can take these and put them right on my board, just like that. Okay, and then what you can do if you don't want to make a bunch and you have this group and this pattern, you can copy this group, paste, paste, paste. So now I have a bunch of tiles that I can just take and fit into where they need to go. And if I need to ungroup them and click on one to rotate it, that is always an option too. Okay, so just for movement purposes, it might be nice to group those first and then go ahead and put it all together. Okay, so just like that. So, but this one is still a whole group, so I can put that in here. That seems to fit pretty good. I'm pretty okay with that. So on and so forth. Okay, so then I could take these and rotate it. So now I can make them line up here. So it looks like these need to be shrunken down a bit. Looks like you can keep them grouped and still change their size. So those are nice and neat. And this one, I can just click on this, stretch that in, maybe stretch that one out a little bit more, make this one a little bit smaller. Okay, so you're just gonna have to play around with that, but the copy and paste tool is definitely your friend in this situation, as well as that grouping tool. If you have any other questions, adding text, you can type in as much as you want. Let me see, what else am I forgetting? Creating an image. If you want to add an image, upload from the web, your computer, your drive, or your photos. So if I wanted to upload from the web, I can just Google search. Let's say I want Montana mountains, MOUNTANS. Okay, so then I could take this, insert. Okay, now let's say I want that to be my background. So order on the page, send to the back. So now you have your all of this on top of it. You can also make the picture transparent before you send it to the back. So image, format options, you can go and recolor it, size and position, adjustments, shadow and reflection. Transparency, I can make it transparent. Change, play around with this if you feel the need. If not, then you're good and you're fine. But yeah, that is some of the things that you can do here on Google Draw with your board. If you have any other questions, I would be happy to help. Pause and play these videos as much as you need. All right, thanks guys.